and welcome to Star Wrap, the Art of Tissue Transformation. My name is Tate Yoder, and I'm going to be your guide on this journey of unlocking the secrets of your fascia. So this is going to be an exploration guiding you through the ankle, knee, wrist, elbow, knees, hips, lower back, spine, and upper shoulders. And the idea is to unlock your fascia. So what is fascia? Fascia it's a connective tissue that wraps around every muscle spindle, muscle fiber, muscle group, every organ, everything in your system is wrapped by fascia. And what it is it's called the neuromyofascial web. So there's 10 times more nerve endings in fascia than in your muscles. So that means the communication from your nervous system to your muscular system is responsive, and you're more in tune to that communication when you're tuned into your fascia. So when you look at athletes, you look at performance, you look at just movement, grace, and ballet and dance, it's an awareness of your body, and that awareness comes from tuning into how does your foot and ankle communicate to your knee, communicate to your hip, up your spine. It's also called the kinetic chain and strength and conditioning circles. So we're really going to begin exploring how to move your bones, and we're going to show you each of the bones related to the area we're working. How do you get the bones to interact in a new way and in a new dialogue and have a new conversation with each other? Because if you can begin to have those bones articulate and move in new ways, the muscles that attach to those bones are going to be challenged out of their repetitive movement. So first we have to tune in to where your repetitive movements are and what that pattern looks like throughout your whole system. And then we get to unwind it. And that starts with high repetition movements, because high repetition creates more blood flow. And so we're breaking the pattern through high repetition movements where we're moving in a new way and without pain. That's a very crucial point. So we don't want to take you into any pain at all through this movement system. So I want to get started right away. These are expert strategies. I've been working with the body for 25 years. I understand how fascia works. I'm trained as a structural integration therapist, which is like a rolfer. I've been in strength and conditioning my whole life. So this is working with professional athletes. This is helping people out of pain. So applying this methodology is going to really help you tune into what's going on in your body and give you some very powerful strategies to unwind them and to relax them. So I'm so happy you've joined me here on this journey. I'm ready to get started. We're going to do a little bit of a breakdown of the content. So we're going to get into 3 concepts. The first step is unlocking the secrets of fascia, which I just covered that step with the movement of the bones. So the 3 concepts are intensity, duration, and frequency. So we're going to explore what that looks like, because each of you are different. You're going to have different levels of mobility. Your tissue is going to respond differently to what we're doing, and this is going to lead us into the strategies of the physio ball and the star stack method, where we're actually going to target those areas that we're identifying now and teach you how to release them through direct pressure and use of the star stack. So here's the star stacks. We've got the specific and the linear star stacks, so we're going to get into those in the next video. But then we're going to get into ankles, knees, hips, low back, spine, shoulders. So here we go. When you're wanting something different and something that you've never had, you need to do something you've never done. So we're going to be moving in new ways, in different ways. We're going to explore what each of the joints movement possibility is, with flexion, extension, inversion, eversion, rotation. Every joint has a specific movement that it can do, and what we're going to do is explore combinations of those movements to really isolate those fibers and restrictions in your body. So that's the step 1, unlocking the secrets of the fascia, high repetition movements without pain. So the intensity, as we get into intensity, I want you to just think about when you get into a stretch, if you go too quickly, it's going to be painful. Okay, so stretching becomes something you don't want to do because it hurts. So this is an enjoyable process. We're just wanting to get you to tune in at the most gentle level of what your range is, and then through the high repetition, that tissue begins to open up and the body says, okay, go deeper. You don't tell the body to go deeper. So that's a very big distinction, is what is your body allowing you to do and how to work with your body to get it to adapt to what you're asking of it, because it'll adapt to whatever you want. It's called the SAID principle, specific adaptation to impose demand. So we're going to ask something different and the body will adapt. So the duration is how much time you're spending in any of these positions, because it's really a therapeutic process here. So we don't want to rush it. This is your time. We want you to honor it. We want to honor how the body works. You have to be patient with the body. You can't force it. So it might take longer. So I invite you to spend some more time unwinding. When you find areas that are problematic, just pause the video and really get into exploring at whatever level, whatever depth is appropriate, which is some of the concepts we're going to be explaining and getting into. But spend some time listening to your body, and I will be guiding you, but this is to try to understand your body, and I'm communicating to you through this media, so I can't see you. That's the one-on-one sessions that I can do where we can really explore what's going on with your body. But right now, I'm guiding you. The frequency is just making this a habit. So instead of standing still, which is what we do, or sitting still, the physio ball is something that I use just to illustrate the point of oscillating movements, because our bodies are 60-70% water, so they're fluid. So we want to be fluid with our movements. I'm not standing still now. It's little oscillations which gets your body to adapt to that stimulus. So instead of being still and stagnant, what happens with stagnant water? It gets toxic. So we want to be fluid. That fluidity helps flush toxins, helps the muscle fibers floss and gloss, and helps the fascia go from a viscous or a gel-like state to a more viscous state. That's called thixotrophy. So we're getting that fascia to actually melt and become more fluid, which is where we get the responsiveness of your entire system. Okay, so here we go. It's time to close off the rest of your world, close down your laptop, unless you're watching this on your laptop. Close down your any other distractions. Try to find a nice peaceful space, and this is your time to tune into your body. So let's try to honor it with the peace and quiet, and begin with 3 deep breaths. So the idea with it's called box breathing. So we're going to take an inhalation, and it can be a 3-second, 4-second, 7-second, whatever your breathing rate is. You're going to inhale, then you're going to hold it for that same amount of time, and then you're going to exhale that same 7, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then you're going to expel and squeeze for that 7 seconds, get all that oxygen out of your system. We're going to do that 3 times, so it's called box breathing. So here we go. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Inhale. Exhale. And squeeze. Okay, and really focus on filling up your lungs, getting your ribs to expand, getting the oxygen to your chest. Okay, so start with your belly. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. And expel. Nice deep breath. This is helping tune into your nervous system, so it's really beginning to calm you down and get you focused on your breath. So last one, inhale. Hold. Exhale. And expel. Okay, hopefully that calmed you down a little bit. So we're going to bring our mind consciousness and our body consciousness together. So I want you to understand the concept of using your mind to focus your breathing into the area we're targeting. Okay, so it's a directed breath. So just use that same breathing and focus it on the areas we're going to be working. So starting with the foot and ankle, we have the tibia and the talus. The tibia sits on top of the talus, and then you have the fibula on the outside part of your leg, and you have the calcaneus, and then all of the metatarsals underneath that, all of the phalanges, all the different bones. There's many cuneiform. There's a lot of bones in the foot, so we're going to be thinking about how to articulate all those bones as we move. So think of the foot as and tune this in with your breathing, right? So use your breath as we move and just tune into your breathing and the movement. See if we can connect those two concepts and focusing your mind into the area we're targeting. Okay, so it's a skill to relax your body, but that's part of the art, is teaching you how to tell your body to relax, because your mind controls your body. So let's get your body saying, listening to your mind and letting go. That's a big repeated concept, let go. So unlocking your foot, you have 3 points of contact of the foot. You have the calcaneus, the heel bone, and then you have the big toe and the little toe. So those are 3 points of contact. So I'm standing on a balance pad. You can be standing on a yoga mat. You can stand on the carpet, whatever. But what we're going to do is begin having those 3 points articulating. So you're going from the heel to the big toe to the little toe and back to the heel. So it's just kind of like a wave that we're moving from between those 3 points. And immediately I want you to start thinking about how your ankle and your knees are connected, and your knees and your hips are connected, all the way up the chain, because the movement starts with the foot, but then it spirals up your entire system. So begin exploring the movements of the foot. So we have flexion and extension, dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. We have inversion, eversion. We have rotation. Okay, your foot you can contract. Okay, you can contract and flex the foot, or you can extend the foot. You can really separate each of the toes out as well. So those are essentially all the movements that we can do with the foot. So what I want you to begin exploring is, how do I get the bones of my foot to really be challenged? Okay, so you can go up to your toes, back to your heels. We're working on balance a little bit as well. So you can shift back and forth. If you've ever had an ankle sprain, the muscles on that lateral leg are going to be very restricted. Okay, so I'm going to show you something you can do to open up that restriction, but that injury has stayed with you. So a lot of times if you've had one ankle sprain, it repeats because you're not recovering the muscles above that ankle joint, so they're still tight from the injury, and that makes that joint vulnerable and susceptible to a re-injury. So what we want to do is start opening up that ankle joint. So I'm just kind of shifting onto what's called the knife edge, which is the lateral side of the foot. So I shift to the left, shift to the right. You can shift forward. We're going to increase the flexion of that front foot. Okay, so we're bending that angle here of that front foot, shifting left, shifting right, going to the toes, going to the heels, exploring what's going on in your ankle, what's going on in your foot. The foot is the foundation. In the masterclass series, I get into self-massage. We're going to show you stack method treatment for the foot, but the idea is to release as much tension through movement, through challenging movements. We get stuck in shoes. We're not actually articulating as much as our feet can. If you think of people who walk barefoot, and people who can actually flex and extend their foot, the amount of control that you have in your foot can adapt to anything. It can bend over rocks. If you look at kids walking over rocks, their ability to flex and adapt to that is greater than If you haven't been doing that, the tension there makes your foot way more vulnerable or more susceptible to pain, essentially. So, all right, so we're moving the foot, going to the toes, going to the heels, lateral. I'm gonna show you a stepping, walking pattern. So heel to toe, and then using the toe to propel you forward to the next step. That's how the foot is designed, to roll forward and extend. Okay, that's propulsion. And so we're just gonna work on from the back heel, work on that, collapsing that angle, and then roll forward onto the toes to the front foot and roll to the next toe. Okay, so heel, toe, roll forward to the next one. So if you practice this as you're walking, you're gonna notice that you can pick up speed just by using the foot as it's designed to move. So you learned how to walk a certain way. That's one way to walk. So there's a million different ways to walk. If you watch people walk, everyone walks differently. They walk in the same pattern, but do they keep their foot on the ground longer, which is going to use the hamstring and the back line more? Do they walk, on the lateral sides of their feet because they're compensating for something up the chain? Are they all quad dominant and they're just walking straight with their quad the whole time? So how do you walk if you make little transitions in the way you plant your foot and the way you rotate? That's targeting different muscles within that chain, which is beginning to unlock the fascia because you're calling on different muscles within your movement pattern to recruit. So breaking that pattern, looking to the left, turning your head to the right, little shifts can really unlock the fascia in a whole new way. So here's a little practice. We're going to take those 3 points of contact and we're going to practice using one of them on each. So I'm going to go from my big toe on my back foot to my heel on my front foot. Okay, so we're going to work on, and if you need, use the 2 points, big toe and little toe on the back foot and the heel on the front foot, and just work on balancing, because when we work on destabilizing your foundation, the stabilizer muscles that are needed to recruit to find balance and proprioception, that is tuning you into the neuromyofascial web, which is the organ of proprioception is fascia. So fascia is what helps you find balance. So that is what we're working now. Every time you go into balance, your stabilizer muscles in your ankle, your knee, your hips, your spine are called into action to help you find balance, help you find your center of gravity. So the more we destabilize it, the more we're tuning into the neuromyofascial web. Okay, so practice different points of contact. I'm moving out to my lateral toe on the back foot and the lateral toe on the front foot. So I'm now just practicing balancing on those two outside toes, trying to lift up my big toe and lift up my heel. Okay, and what that is also doing is engaging my lateral leg, which is going to tell me, is there tension in that lateral leg? Okay, so we're playing around with the heels. You can just go to heels and just do heel walking, right? So that's, again, that's engaging that front of your leg. You're working on holding dorsiflexion, which if you have tension there, this is going to be pretty difficult for you to hold this position. Or go to your toes. Same thing, now I'm using my calves and soleus to walk around like ballet. So how does that feel to walk just on your toes? So these are all easy manipulations and shifts we can make in the way we move, which are going to challenge your body in a whole new way. And the idea with that challenge is if we do it regularly enough, we're going to begin to unlock and break repetitive patterns in movement. So moving on to the wrists, so we're doing the hands and wrists as well. So we're going to combine the feet and the hands right now. So working on those 3 points of contact, and then the flexion, all the different ranges of movement for the wrist. You got extension, you got flexion, you got medial and internal You've got rotation. Okay, so what can we be doing? And notice how the wrists and the elbows are connected just like the ankles and the knees. So begin to explore what's going on in those wrists, okay, what's going on in the elbows, what's going on in the arms. And it's just kind of a movement exploration of the connections of the muscles, because if you're moving the bones in different ways, then the muscles are going for a journey. You're challenging the muscles out of their normal state. And with high repetitions, so we're doing 25 reps. So let's just practice a rotation with the ankles, going 3 points of contact, rotation with the wrists. Okay, you can go both directions and begin exploring. You should begin to hear the bones of the wrists, the bones of the feet are going to be talking, okay? And so, and how you position your elbow related to your wrist is also so if I'm here, you know, stretching and flexing my wrist with my arm straight, or if it's bent, that's two different positions that those bones are in. So how many different positions do we have to be moving in with our arms and legs? And that's sort of just exploring. So I said we're going to be moving differently and in a new way. So that's the idea. Challenge the joint. What's going on? I know I have something going on in this medial side, this elbow, all the soft tissue work I do. I have an area here. So this is beginning to tune me into my pattern. So there's a pattern here that's connecting from my elbow up to my chest. Okay, so I begin to tune and explore, how do I isolate that pattern? How do I articulate where I feel tension in my extremities right now, and begin to bring high repetition movements, so 25 reps. I'm just going to use my arm as an example. So I'm going to move my elbow, which is all the muscles attaching to my elbow, all the muscles attaching to my wrist, in high repetitions, 25 repetitions. That brings blood flow into the exact angle that's isolating and identifying your pattern. Okay, so that's what we're achieving here, is blood flow, increasing blood flow, flossing that joint, which is helping the fascia to shift from the gel to a fluid, and then we're connecting it through my shoulder, through my spine. How does this, if I'm opening up, what does that feel like as I connect it into my shoulders? Okay, so high repetition, 25 reps. We've identified a pattern for me. Okay, so we've begun the connections between our wrists and our hands and wrists and into our elbows, elbows into the shoulder, and our ankles and feet into the knees. So just begin to explore what those connections feel like. What's going on in that extremity, in that chain, in that lower leg as we move up the body. So the next step in this unwinding is going to get into the knees. So we're going to start working on the knees next.